Hello, long time no see. It's been a hot minute, it's been a while, but I'm back finally. Let's catch up. This is my last day in the studio of 2025 and it's also my last day in the studio for about a month because I'm going away for Christmas and New Year, spending it down south, and then I'm gonna fly to India for 2 weeks at the start of the new year, which I am very excited about. I've got my travel sketchbook ready to go. It's going to be amazing, hopefully, and also some warm weather in January when it's grim in the UK, especially up north where I'm from. Because it's the last studio day of the year, I'm going to take a moment to reflect on this year and also set some goals for 2026 because I do love a good goal. So let's get into it. So this year, it's been a good year, I think. Like, obviously, it's not all highs and not all positives, but overall, I'd say it's been a good year. It has brought about some unexpected changes. Like, at the start of the year, I was back in my part-time job, which was kind of a full-time job, and I was working a lot of hours there, and I was kind of like sort of seeing myself doing that for a good few years still, because I tried the full-time artist thing. You can watch the whole thing on this channel, even though I'm not posted for like a year and a bit. But yeah, I was expecting myself to be there for quite a while and trying to balance art on the side, and then one day in March, or maybe it was February, I decided that I'd had enough and I was like, I need to pursue this art thing full time or else it's never going to happen. I'm never going to be happy. So I handed in my notice in February or March, February I think, to leave in April. I gave a big notice period, and then in April I left my job, and then I had like a month off work because I ran London Marathon. I also went backpacking to Thailand for about three weeks I think, which was again incredible. Although backpacking after you just ran a marathon, like the first couple of days, like carrying around like 10 kilograms on my back, just not the best. Then at the end of May, I started out on my path once again, my second attempt of trying out this silly little full-time illustrator thing, and this time round it's working, which I am so proud of myself to be saying, to be sat here telling you right now. At the end of May of 2025 this year, I started pursuing this full-time art thing again, but this time I gave myself a deadline. I told myself that I had 1 year to make it work, and we are now about nearly 7 months in, and basically the aim was to start making a full-time income from art alone within the year, because I had a lot of savings that I'd saved up through working at my other job and other art projects in the past. And the idea was that if by May 2026, if I wasn't making any signs of a full-time income, then I'd have to call it quits and get a proper full-time job, preferably in a field that is still relevant to art, but like not working for myself and doing like my full dream career. But it's only taken me 6 months, so hopefully, touch wood, to make it work. November and December have been pretty good months for me. Like, obviously I'm not rich by any means, and I'd say I'm about making like a similar amount of money to what I did through my other job, which is at the moment all I need. And obviously I'd like to scale that in the future because life is expensive and I'd like to move out at some point. It's going in the right direction and I'm quite proud of myself for making it work. I know that obviously the income fluctuates so much, so I'm definitely going to work on stabilising this income, because I'm very, very aware that November and December have probably been busy for me because I've been doing lots of Christmas markets and like Christmas orders, and obviously I know that in January that's going to dry up. And I feel like I'm quite confident in saying that in May I will not need to be looking for a full-time job because I know that it works. Which brings me on to my goals for 2026. My goals for this year, I do love a good goal setting thing. Normally I get too carried away and set far too many goals and I just don't achieve any of them, or very few of them. Like, don't get me wrong, this year I have achieved so much, but it's always the unexpected things you achieve. Like I said, I was never expecting to pursue the full-time art thing again, never mind make it work. So even though that's like my lifelong goal and ambition. So yeah, it's setting goals is a tricky one, I think. But this year for 2026, I want to set some goals to keep me accountable, keep me on track. My number one goal of the year is to sustain my career as a full-time artist. So I want to basically make it a bit more stable for myself and so I can carry on pursuing it and make a proper living off it still. So I'm looking to book more live illustration projects. I'm doing I've got a few, I think I've got 3 wedding live portraits bookings for next year. So I really want to get into doing that because it's something I really enjoy and it's just a nice thing. Live illustration to me is quite important because it involves people with art. I normally work in my studio here by myself every day. It can be quite lonely and isolating working for yourself, being self-employed, and live illustration is when you go to all these cool events and there's so many people, so it's the opposite of what I'm used to and I really love that about it. So yeah, I'm looking to grow that for next year, and also markets this year have been really good for me, so hopefully around Christmas time, and I've got some booked for early 2026 as well. At lots of markets, it's a great way to get my name out there and just meet more and more people with my work. So goal number 2 has been on my goal list for probably the past 2 or 3 years. And have I done it? Absolutely not. But this year is the year it's happening. So I want to get back into doing weekly YouTube videos on here. I have grown up watching so many artists and illustrators document their business, their art practice here on YouTube, and it inspired me. I think it's had a big impact on what I do now. So I'd like to return that favour and document my art practice. I'm not super established. I'm at the very start of my career. Things are only just getting started now. Yeah, they're going well, but there's lots of doubt, lots of stress, lots of things happening. We're really in a trial and error stage where I'm basically pursuing anything to do with illustration that I enjoy, not just anything, but anything that I enjoy, and seeing what works, what doesn't work, and then building on what does work. So I'd like to document the process and the journey for myself and also for illustrators after me. And yeah, I think there's nothing better than just a artist illustrator showing the true nature of pursuing your dreams, because when things start to go well, I thought people think it's an overnight success. Oh, you're so lucky that you can draw, you're so lucky that you can do what you love for a living. But there's literally already, I'm 22 right now, and I decided I wanted to be an illustrator when I was 12, and I genuinely worked so hard for it since I was 12. Obviously when I was 12 I wasn't doing businessy things much. I did my first commission when I was 13, I think, but when I was 12 I was drawing every single day. I was developing my art style, I was posting on Instagram. I have really built it up. I've only been able to start making just enough money now because I've been work on it for a decade. As I'm getting into the stage of where I'm becoming more of a professional, hopefully, fingers crossed, I just want to showcase the reality of that and grow a nice little community of people, hopefully. We'll see. But yeah, my plan is to do a video every week, every Friday, I think, because then if I missed upload, because editing videos takes forever and I'm not the best. I need to relearn how to do it because it's been a while. I just think I need to like just do it on a Friday, and then if I miss it, I've got until Sunday, and then that for it to be classed that weekly upload. But hopefully it should all be on the Friday. And the plan was to start doing it from the start of January, like the first week. But I am kind of a bit up against it at the moment. I've got videos filmed mostly. Like I've been trying to get back into YouTube since I left my job again, but I've just not had time because I've been focusing on like chasing the work and doing all the admin side that comes with it. I've been filming it, but then just it's been sat there and not edited it, which is my own fault. But we're going to change that. We're going to make it happen because who else is going to make it happen? You know? You're going to see this video at some point. Whether that's, you're either going to see this video, because this is going to be my first video back. You're going to see either on the 2nd of January or the 23rd of January. So let me know which one it is. Goal number 3 is quite ambitious because why not be ambitious with your goals? And that is, I'm actually scared to put this out into the world because what if it doesn't happen? But let's just manifest this together. Let's work towards it. I want a picture book agent or a publisher by the end of the year. I'm not fussy which one, but I'd like one of them. I basically just want to start making steps into my biggest dream, which is to be a published author and illustrator. Essentially, I want to walk into a bookshop one day and see my book there. That is the ultimate dream of all time. And currently it's not happening because I've worked on some book ideas. I've got one of them that I'm happy with, ready to go, and I've got 2 more which I just need to basically just finish, and then like some sample artwork, and then they're good to go. And I have sent out the one finished book to a publisher before, and I had such a positive response. I know things happened, so it never went anywhere, which is completely fine, but they were like, you need to keep pushing this out, like it's got some potential. So I know that I'm not delusional. I really want to make this happen because otherwise time just gonna get away with me. Like I'm gonna be 23 next month, and I know that it's not old, but I feel like it's old. I want my first book to be published in my 20s, and I know that when you finally get your publishing contract, it does take a few years for it to go from signing the contract to the book hitting the shelves. So I better get a move on because it's so competitive and it's so hard. But it's worth it for my childhood dreams. It's what I've always wanted to do. We're going to make it work, and I'm going to like document the journey. So hopefully in like a year's time, we can watch and reflect on the journey together. And it makes me excited about achieving that goal. I think I'm going to keep it at 3 goals this year because, I mean, they're not just 3 goals, let's be honest. They are 3 quite hard goals, ambitious goals. They're the 3 goals: sustain my career as a full-time artist, to post weekly YouTube videos, and to get a picture book agent / publisher. Obviously, I do have like some personal goals, like personal life goals. I do admit like most of my goals are often based around my work because I feel like when you're an artist, your work is a lot of your identity. It is mine anyway. Like obviously there are other things about me, but it is so much of what makes me me, I think. And yeah, so most of my goals are centered around my business and my art, but there are other things. So I have some goals for running. I think that's like my hobby now because this used to be my hobby, but it is now work, which is the best thing ever. But I think sometimes you used to need a hobby where you don't have to be the best at it. And that for me is running. It helps, and also I'm finding it very weird being in a job now where I sit down all day to draw or work, because I used to like run around all day every day like at my old job, and I'm still finding it weird to just sit. So I think like movement is very important for me. So yeah, I've got some running goals that I want to do. I want to get a bit faster, and but mostly I think the goal is just to have fun with it. And another goal I think that I want to do, which is more like a hobby kind of thing, is to read more. I'm guilty of always saying I don't have time to read, but then my screen time on my phone says otherwise. So I definitely want to swap out like doom scrolling for reading more books, because when I do, I get proper into the books, and I used to read so much, and I think reading does so much for you. Like when I was much younger, I was so bad at spelling, like awful, but then I used to read so much, and it helped me get to an okay, good standard of spelling. Like I'm not amazing, but I can spell okay now. That is, I think those are the two personal goals that I'd like for this next year. So I guess it's 5 goals, but I'm excited. I have a good feeling that 2026 is going to be a good year. So that brings us kind of like to the end. I hope you've enjoyed this first video back. It's probably very rambly, it's probably very messy, but I am capturing a realistic version of what it's like to be starting and scaling your own business. And definitely, I will see you next week. Bye bye.